What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, let's talk about Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. They did it, and I gotta be real. Let's start it off with a spicy take, hot take, right? You can let me know what you think in the comments. I'm not all that mad, and this is coming from the guy who just ranted twice in the past, 3 days about Days Gone and about Horizon, and I think a lot of it has to come down to the price, and we'll talk about that, in this video. Do I think it's unnecessary? Yes, I still absolutely think that. We'll talk about that as this video goes. But, we kind of had the Horizon corner of the state of play today, right? Get Lego Horizon, get the date. The date was already leaked, so it wasn't too much of a surprise of November 14th. I'm actually interested in the Lego Horizon thing, to be honest with you. I think I might get it. It's coming out, I think, a day before Assassin's Creed. November is relatively light, just overall, but you got Lego Horizon, and then they did the back-to-back. They did what we were all asking for, and they remastered Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, okay, here's what I will honestly say. The game looks really good. And I've said this before, I'm a fan of the series. I think Horizon Zero Dawn is really good. This serves a couple different purposes. And, especially if you read the PlayStation blog, I want to go over a couple things, not necessarily verbatim, but they've really overhauled everything. They're doing haptic feedback. I saw that as a, complete paragraph of pretty much anything, most things that you saw in Forbidden West. They're trying to implement it in Zero Dawn. So the motion capture, like the face capturing kind of stuff. And honestly, when you look at the poster, it actually looks very in line with Forbidden West. When you look at the trailer, like if you showed somebody almost a side-by-side, you might be able to convince them that this is Forbidden West, to be honest with you. When she's sliding and facing off, against machines, you can't really tell which game it is. I don't know if that's a good or bad. I mean, from visual and performance kind of perspective, I think it's a good thing. I guess in other ways, it might not be so much of a good thing. But no, honestly, it looks improved. And I don't think it's fair, because I think you can say still some negatives, and I'm going to get there in terms of like the overall full price, but I think you got to be fair, or at least I'm going to be fair to it. You can do whatever you want, and you can let me know in the comments. But, I think the game overall looks really good. I think it looks visually improved. They talk about those kind of like 10-hour voiceover recording sessions or whatever that they're kind of repurposing and putting back into the game. Like I said, I mentioned haptic feedback. They talked about sound in the PlayStation blog. That's been completely reworked as well. So, and I said this when I got mad at it. Will this be the best way to play the game? Yes, 100%. I would be shocked. My jaw would hit the floor if the original game is actually a better version. And because that's the whole point. When you do these remasters, even if they're relatively pointless, you're still doing it to make the best version, right? That's a very fair thing to say. This will be the best version of the game, okay? Want to just throw that out there. It's going to be the best version, just like Days Gone, if that's real. I'm sure that would be the best version too. So, on that side of things, I do think it looks improved. I think this does legitimately look like a remaster. In fact, in some ways, they literally did remake it, because they remade some of the control type stuff. They remade the sound. They remade a few different things. So want to give them props there. And then the big one, right, is the price. Now, two different kind of sides to this. They did the upgrade path, and thank the Lord. Because honestly, I know I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it, right? It would be very nice. It'd be a whole lot better if there was an upgrade path. I don't know if there, and back, a couple days ago, I think I said I don't think there will be. Well, thank the Lord there actually is, right? So basically, if you own this game in most ways, if you ever got this game, if you got the complete edition, if you got this during that PlayStation's Play at Home initiative, if you got it in most ways, you get the game for $10. The only way you don't get the game for $10, well, obviously if you don't own it, or they obviously pull the whole, if you have it disc, which I think I actually have a disc. If you have it disc and then you have the digital PS5, right? You can't, it doesn't know how to read it, which, is something that I think we all kind of realized and learned back when the PS5 and Series X kind of started to do these upgrade paths. It's not ideal, but I get it. It is the way that it is. You have the disc, the PlayStation, if it's digital, it doesn't know that you have the disc. Henceforth, you don't actually own the game, and you need to you need to spend the $50. And then there's that part, right? If you don't have the game, if this is the first time you're getting it, or you just want it in general, the game's $50. You know, that's high. That's high. I guess it could be higher, so like it could be worse. I do think 40 to 50 is somewhat reasonable. I saw some people getting mad at the 50 thing. I mean, would I have preferred 40? Yeah. But ultimately, to be honest, like for me personally, I own it. So I would do the upgrade. Like it doesn't impact me. Now that doesn't mean it's not important to like the wider gaming spectrum, but specifically selfishly, you know, my opinion, like I'm doing the $10 path if I do it. I don't need to worry about spending $50 on the game, right? Maybe if I wanted, like, as a physical thing 10 years down the line, if I want to get my PS5 collection, then I would do it. But, yeah, I think that's kind of where I stand on it. I think the $10 thing is very smart. And honestly, it's why I'm not nearly as mad. Now, is it necessary? Well, the game is still only 7. Like, everything we said is still true. The game is still only 7 years old. There's games that are older than it that honestly need remasters more. Now, this is like an easier way out. This is a way maybe to continue to sell on a franchise that you want to push without too much work. I mean, it definitely sounds like they've done stuff here, but I think if you're remastering this game versus, say, remastering Bloodborne, I think you're putting more work and money and all that stuff into Bloodborne. So, you know, if you're talking like not going cheap, but maybe going cheap, like if you're talking about as little money invested, but maybe like a bigger reward, that's what you're kind of getting here. But still, everything I said is true. Like I don't know. I'm not as mad because of the $10. The $50 is kind of whatever. The $10 is totally fine. Then it kind of just comes down to, do we need it? Like I mentioned, Days Gone, Horizon. Do we need these games that are 5 to 7 years old when you got Bloodborne? And that's the easy one. And then you just go back a few other years and, you know, you got Infamous and Killzone and Resistance and Sly and Jak and Daxter and shall I go on, right? The list literally doesn't end, especially when you get to PS2, PS3. I know that's more work. I know it's maybe more risky, but it's, you know, it's things we talked about in past videos. It's an optics thing. I think it's more than just an optics thing, but like, you know, one of the first things I think of is I think there's a lot of goodwill to remastering a game that's 15 years old versus a game that's 7. It doesn't even matter what the game is. You tell me that you've remastered a game that's more than a decade versus less than a decade, it's just going to look better, at least in my eyes. Maybe not the consumer's eyes, maybe not the world's eyes, but it's my channel. It's my specific eyes. I think I would look at it better. So I think all those things can be true at once. I think you can say this is the best version of the game, or it probably will be. The $10 is really no big deal. There's no, at least for me, I'm not going to get mad at that. But you can also say that it's still kind of unnecessary to do the thing in the first place. I think all three of those things can be true at the same time. And then also it comes out on Halloween. Not ideal. I mean, I like games coming out on Halloween is a cool concept, but, you know, I think you got Dragon Age. You have this game. I don't know. I'm going to be trick-or-treating with my daughter or watching or, you know, whatever it might end up being. I don't know if I'll be able to play even Dragon Age, let alone Horizon Zero Dawn again. So there you go. You let me know what you think in the comments. We will patiently await the next, you know, Grand Slam game that they got in Days Gone Remastered. We'll see when they, you know, announce that one. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.